So everybody, this will be another one touching on, the reality shows. Um, the state of the train of thought here in America, and how they play games with words and spin things, and just everything is pandering for votes and stuff instead of doing what's right for the country and for humanity and the world. You can say my views on what to do with criminals is extreme and that's crazy and all that kind of stuff. But look here, you people, you're all for abortion, especially if you're in the African American community. What are you doing out there for the Black Lives Matter stuff if you're for abortion? Because a large number of abortions that are performed are done in the African American community. So I don't get the logic there. I'm sorry. You can say I'm making something out of nothing, play it off, whatever you want, but please explain the logic to me. Explain that logic. You're for abortion, and these people want to push for abortion right up to the time of a child's birth. But you're against the death penalty for criminals. I don't get it. You're all about killing the innocent and the unborn and protecting the lives of criminals. I don't get it. Explain that rationally and logically instead of like all the talking heads and the spin doctors do. Please, somebody tell me, does that make sense to you? Does that make any damn sense? Now, in the case of abortion, I used to be against it all, but I'm seeing that, I believe, and I'm not sure, but the faith I'm studying now, one of the elders, if you like, or the founders of the faith, was asked, according to the blog I read or something about that, and he said, it's reported that he said, I'm not sure, because like I said, I don't have all the texts and stuff, and who knows, maybe because the way I've talked or whatever, they won't accept me. I don't know. But anyhow, what it was is, according to the blog I read, or I forget if it was on there. I'm not sure if it was their official website. I believe it was a blog. Was in the case of rape, it was okay, because it'd be unfair to ask that woman to be burdened for the rest of her life with that. So I used to be thinking, adoption was the best case in that and everything and stuff. And as far as looking at that too and everything, you can't even, that would be in the case, I think, wholeheartedly, where she wasn't partly at fault. Because if you look at our society now, you send your daughters out on these spring breaks and they go to these raves and stuff, and they get high as a kite and half naked and grind on guys they don't even know and all this and everything. Then they end up getting raped. So they bear some of the responsibility, don't they? That's everything I've talked about our own personal responsibility for a lot of things. And so there's a lot of things we have to have serious dialogue about, instead of talking heads and spin doctors spewing a bunch of crap out just because they're pandering for votes. And they're trying to wag the dog. Oh, you gotta let all these refugees in because they're fleeing from crime and all this stuff and everything. Okay, we caught one of those criminals that's making it life hard for the Hispanic community. We've caught one of them. He's here illegally. Hand him over to ICE. No, he's in a sanctuary city. We're just going to turn him loose. I'm sorry, what? That's logic? So, all my views and stuff, or most of them anyway, on crime, things like this, environmental stuff, the hypocrisy there, you got these environmentalists you know, uh, blaming all kinds of industry and everything like that. But every weekend in the wintertime, they're heading for the slopes, or they're heading to Vegas, or they're heading wherever. These Hollywood people, these sports teams, they jet around. Now they want to expand the sports teams around the world, so there's going to be more fossil fuels burned for something not one part of humanity benefits from, except for the players themselves and people associated with sports. So I think we got to really start looking at, you know, like during this COVID, we were told, hey, if it ain't essential, we can't deal with it right now. Well, maybe we need to start looking at that, using that logic for a lot of other things. You know, we can't afford to pay teachers and police and stuff like this and everything. How about this? We make them, you know, for their salaries, their payroll and stuff, and you know, they're in essential job positions. Either they pay half the tax rate or no tax rate, or whatever, off of that income. I'm not talking about investment income, stuff like that. And my ideas on that anyways, federal income tax shouldn't be, we'll just do it from the age of 24 to 64 or 54 or something like that. You know, those ages, that way you're going to school, you're starting a family, you're younger than that, you don't have to pay federal income tax. You can get on your feet, you know, get your life plan in order. And then in retirement, you know, you still, like I said, I got a friend and still working. He's 72 or something like that. And I'm looking at my, you know, I'm going to have to work past 65. So, you know, seniors have all these extra costs, healthcare and all this and everything. So give them a break too. If they're still working and stuff and everything, they don't have to pay income tax, say, unless it goes over 60 grand. Same thing if you're, you know, under the age of 24, you don't have to pay income tax, payroll tax, anything like that, if you're making under 60 grand. And maybe then between like 60 and 100, you pay half rate or something. Same thing if you're elderly. We can look at things like that, because if you look at money, whether it's the economy, the spending, you gotta look at it's like the circulatory system of our bodies. And if you look at the heart as the federal government, industry, you know, and social expenditures, and you know, what would be fourth one? I'm trying to think of like a 4-valve thing. Anyway, as long as everything's flowing good through all of that and going to all parts of the body, everything's fine, right? And you can even say, like, you know, we are like the internal organs and stuff, or the limbs and stuff. Or no, we'll be the internal organs, and like the limbs will be that circulatory system of cash flow reaching out to the rest of the world. So as long as there's no blockages in the arteries and stuff, it circulates fine. As long as one part of the heart isn't sucking up too much of it, the heart is fine. You know, you're not going to have a bad valve or something like that in a heart attack. You know, and like, you know, if it's going to the fingers and going, you say that's like, you know, the hand is China or something. As long as it's going there and returning back, everything's okay. When it's not returning back from those limbs in a equal manner and stuff, and something's out of balance, like we hear about fair trade and stuff, then you have a problem there, don't you? So you gotta look at it that way. And you could even say, if we're not getting it back in China, China's spending that money somewhere else in the world, in Europe or something like that, and then we're getting, you know, cash flow back from Europe in ways because they're making money off of China, but they're spending it here, then you can still say, okay, everything's healthy. But you got to look at all those numbers. You got to crunch all those numbers. I'm just throwing numbers out, you know, like 60,000 and stuff like that, just off the top of my head. We'd have to look at all that. But so, thinking about all this and everything, I've come up with a novel idea. You already know a little bit about me. You know my views on crime, and I'm telling you some of the stuff on taxes. You know what I think about politicians, all this and everything. So right now, the first ever, it's too late to do it for 2020, the first ever announcement, I'm running for president in 2024, and this is what's going to be novel and unique about it. I don't want any money from anybody, not a single dime. I don't even want you to if you want to subscribe and all that stuff, that's fine. But I don't even want to be monetized by YouTube. I don't care about that. And I'm not going to campaign. I'm not going to go to press conferences or hold press conferences. I'm not going to do anything like that. It's all going to be YouTube videos. That's it. I'm going to post my thoughts and ideas and opinions on YouTube, on my videos here. Now, between now and the 2024 election, and no campaigning, none of this, no drama. I'm a registered independent, and we'll just call it Arts Party. This will be Arts Party. Strictly YouTube campaign. That's it. Strictly that. I don't know, there's probably some law against that or something, so it probably won't work. But it's my idea anyway. If somebody else has done it before, I'm sorry for saying it'll be the first. But as far as I know, this will be the first. I don't want any donations from anybody. Anything like that. I'm not looking for volunteers to go out and support me. Anything. Just if you think I'm the guy, you write me in as a candidate for 2024. You write me in. That's all. If you feel like giving, give to the Red Cross, give to American Heart Association, give to the ASPCA, give to Islamic Relief, give to your local church, give to your local food bank. Anything that helps innocent people and makes life better for them, humanity. Give to these hospitals that look after disabled children. Give anything under the sun that you feel is a worthwhile charity, you give to them. I don't want your money. I work for a living. I don't want your money. I don't care if I get monetized. I'm not even looking to get monetized by YouTube, and I think because I curse once in a while, I don't think that's possible anyway. So I'm not looking for anyone's money. I'm not looking for volunteers. I'm not looking for anything. But if you like the things, my ideas and stuff, and think it's time for somebody who's going to just, whatever the best answer is, I'm picking that answer. Whatever the best solution, I'm going to listen to and go over all the data and what's best for the country, what's best for our relationship with other countries around the world. That would be my mission. That's my platform. Get down to the brass tacks and where the rubber meets the road. Enough nonsense, enough of spin doctors from both sides, enough from all the good old boy networks, whatever it is, any kind of corruption, whether it's in Wall Street and defense contractors, any kind of that stuff. What's crap, I'll call crap, and what's needed will be put forth as hey, we need this is the truth, this is whatever. But no more BS, no more crap. So if you like my ideas on crime and stuff, my ideas how I look at money and the economy and understanding of that, and how we have to make things more fair, and we're going to do that through the tax code and building an economy. I got lots of ideas about, you see, we got to have these bailouts now, even now, a lot of these companies after COVID, and then now after all the looting and stuff, can't afford to pay their rents in their places, and we have these bailouts. And like I said, just for people, everyone is going to have a bank account, and part of your payroll automatically, you can choose your bank, you can choose, whatever plan you got. It's going to have to meet a standard, of a certain percentage of your income automatically is going to go into your retirement. A certain portion of it's automatically going to go into your medical fund. You can choose. It'll all be done right through your payroll. It'll be an account right there. The banks will be able to offer these accounts or manage these accounts for, medical providers or whatever. And same thing for corporations. you're going to have a certain amount of cash reserve, emergency fund, so that and small business, so that you can absorb some of the cost and not have to have taxpayers bail out all the time, and then us get stuck with a bigger deficit. But and we'll go to a cashless society that'll keep a lot of criminal activity down, and also we're going to increase the penalties for this identity theft stuff and these scammers, even if they're in foreign countries. While Congress is bickering about all the crap that doesn't matter and fighting each other over stuff, we'll get things done. We'll get tougher laws passed, penalties. And if you do identity theft and all this stuff, and you cause all this harm and these scams and stuff, we're coming for you. I don't care if you're in Nigeria, where you're at, we're coming for you. Extraction, just like with the terrorists, we're coming for you. And I believe in the death penalty for that too. You're making normal life impossible for people, disrupting their lives. And hey, by the way, while I was thinking about this, remember when was it Randy Quaid, when everyone was saying he flipped out and all this, and he was making those videos talking about how his agent, his ex-wife, some people, they took his house from out from underneath him and stuff, and he was being railroaded and all this crap. And now you hear all these commercials on the radio and TV and stuff about protect the title of your home, title theft. How is this even possible? How is this even possible? And I don't see no politicians. We're going to put a stop to this crap. We are going to put a stop to this. You don't see them. How is it possible for somebody to steal your house out from underneath you in the United States of America? There's a bunch of this crap going on, and I swear it's got to be done to fund these outrageous groups and stuff, and because the politicians let them get away with it. How is that even possible? Well, you elect me as president, and guess what? We're going to put a stop to that. That's not going to be possible no more. This title stuff of people taking your homes, and you having to pay for these companies, to protect your title and stuff like this. We're going to come after you like the other scammers, the identity theft and all that and everything. We're going to come after you too. Death penalty for you too. We've got no time for this anymore. No time for the future. Hackers, all that kind of stuff. We've got no time. Like I said, we're going to go to a cashless society. This debit card, all cell phones. From now on, the government does not have to go through warrants and all this to get cell phone records. Every cell phone made, manufactured, sold in the United States of America will have an identity chip. That way, when looting goes on or something, because these people all carry their, and so will your debit card. Your debit card's also going to have a thumbprint. Driver's licenses will all have a thumbprint. We're going to stop all the charades here. If you're not a criminal, you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about. Just like when you get stopped by a cop, even if you think he's bogusly stopping you, you haven't done anything wrong, you haven't committed a crime, whatever, show him your ID, be on your way. He asks you what you're doing, where you're going, whatever, tell him. Then be on your way. You don't need to get in these big-ass arguments, and people are going to say, oh, you're going to let them police society. It's all going to fall apart. It's going to be like, Nazi Germany. No, it's not. No, it's not. You get pulled over by some cop. He asks for your license, tells you you're speeding, whatever, and you weren't. You're not going to win an argument with them on the road. Take your ticket, take it to court, pay the ticket, be done with it, whatever. Well, you're telling people to take it and blah, 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 and all this. Hey, you know what? What would I rather have? A cop asking me for my ID, even though I think, he has no right to ask me for my ID, or these criminal scumbags out there being able to do the crap they're doing and get away with it. I'll take the lesser of two evils. I'm sorry. The cop asking me for my ID. So anyway, there you go. 2024 Arts Party for president. You got my name there in the title. Write it in. You want to support it, don't try and send me any money. I don't want your money. Give to charity. I don't care if I get monetized by YouTube. I don't care about any of that stuff. It'll be the first ever person running for president strictly by YouTube video, and really doubt anything will come of it. But imagine that. If not me, somebody else. Imagine somebody else. Strictly YouTube campaign, the first time in history. Forget all the process and the billions of dollars that are spent for these bozos and liars out there to run around the country and feed people garbage. You know, their BS. All the billions of dollars and stuff spent on that, and the whole process, and conventions and all this stuff and everything that costs tons of money. Every 4 years we're going to look at terms and stuff like that too, because a lot of these people, as soon as they get in office, they just start running for office over again. Forget about the issues. They'll run around and pander for more votes so they can stay in office. But we'll look. I get elected, we'll look at all that stuff. We will look at all that stuff. And imagine that. If not me, somebody else. Total campaign. No campaign contributions. You know, no billions of dollars. Just the people listening to the ideas of somebody on YouTube, deciding they like that, writing them in, or her, as president candidate. And imagine that, and then winning the election that way. If not me, maybe somebody else, some other man, some other woman. Imagine that. Won't that be a wake-up call to the politicians? Will not that be a wake-up call to the politicians? I think it would be a great wake-up call to the politicians. All right, so there you go. Arthur Duda, 2024. No campaign contributions. No press conferences, no meetings, no campaign, no convention center stuff. None of that. Just strictly, here's what I think. Do you like it or not? Write it in. Write me in as a candidate for 2024. And if I'm not the first, well, here I am. But that's why I'm saying this. Whether it's me or somebody else, man or woman, the first candidate, strictly YouTube. That's not even Twitter, not even the other stuff. That's it. I ain't got time for all that. This is what you get right here. My thoughts and opinions. You like them, you don't like them. There you go. So there's my announcement from lovely Iowa, state of Iowa, rest area on Interstate 80. So there you go. Wish you all the best out there. God bless. Adios. Art Duda 2024. There you go.